Greetings. I'm Reverend Dr. John E. Jackson, Sr., and I am the senior pastor of the Trinity United Church of Christ in the great city of Gary, Indiana, where we are not just another church, but we are a culturally conscious, Christ-centered church that's committed to the community. We are unashamedly Black, and we are unapologetically Christian. And it's Wednesday, and I want to offer what I call a Hump Day Homily or some midweek meditation for you. Let me ask you, what do you see for yourself after COVID-19? What do you see for yourself after COVID-19? What hopes, what experiences, what opportunities, what options do you see opening for yourself after COVID-19? I ask you that question for a reason. So let me give you my illustration and then we'll understand the reason. So as a driver, I can be a bit aggressive. I remember a particular incident not too long ago while I am driving. There was a gentleman who would not let me merge in. And so I ended up going into the other lane, accelerating around him. And as I accelerated around him, I began to look in my rear view mirror as he then was driving what I felt was too close on my rear. He was too close. He was too close because he was upset that I went around him, even though he was not trying to let me merge in, and I got in front of him. And so he then got on my tail, tailgating me, and that irritated me to no end. I kept looking in my rearview mirror, fuming because he was on my tail too close, only to discover that when I started looking forward through the windshield, I saw brake lights that hastily were heading my way because of my speed, and I had to slam on my brakes to keep from hitting the cars that were in front of me because I was spending too much time looking in my rearview mirror. Now, that illustration is probably familiar to a lot of people. There is a reason, you've heard this before, there is a reason why the rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield. The reason the rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield is because you're only supposed to glance in the rearview mirror, but you gaze into the windshield. In other words, your future is ahead of you. Gaze into it. Glance at your past and what used to be. I was in front of the gentleman, moving forward. Why was I looking backwards? Somebody has been looking backwards. Somebody has been looking at what used to be. Somebody has been looking to an old normal that is never going to be again, instead of looking forward to the future that is ahead of you. Your past will hold you hostage. Your future will offer you hope. Like the Sankofa bird, glance at your past to retrieve what you missed so that you can move forward into your future and maximize your present. Please gaze into the future. God has more for you than you've already experienced. Let me say it like this. A preacher, a late preacher that I adore, Dr. Frederick G. Sampson used to say, once a tadpole wiggles itself into a frog, have you ever known a frog to jump backwards? Frogs don't jump backwards. They always jump forward. Move forward into the future that God has for you. Look at what is possible and not what used to be in the past. And finally, don't let people hold you back in what used to be. You know, people love to constantly get you to remember the way things used to be. Do you have any friends or associates that every time you interact with them, have a conversation with them, they're always talking about the way things used to be and the way we used to be and how things used to be? Now, that's fine for a moment, but have you ever noticed that every time you interact with them, every time you have a conversation with them, it's always about the way things used to be? It's because they are stuck in what used to be, and they don't want you to move on to what can be. And they want you to be stuck in what used to be too. And if you allow them, that used to be mindset will be set in your mind, and you won't be looking at what can be, but you'll always be stroking what used to be instead of reaching out to grasp what can be. Windshields are larger than rearview mirrors because windshields hold infinite possibilities and great potential. Rearview mirrors hold the past and what it used to be. Reach for what can be. God bless you. God keep you. Be encouraged, because I'm so glad the tomb was empty.